Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today. I'm excited that you all took some time out on this lovely Sunday and Labor Day weekend to participate in my Arbonne launch. This is actually my final launch. I had two yesterday and one early this morning. So the reason I got, and I know Dad, you were wondering what Arbonne is. Bobby's going to get into that shortly. But the reason I joined as a consultant was because, well, I was introduced to it initially during Bobby's launch last year. And when his coach was talking, he was talking about how it's very much not a selling business where you go out and you promote it and you try to get sales, because I'm not that kind of person. I like forcing things on people. I hate it, and I hate it when it's done to me. So it was very pleasant watching Bobby's launch, and that it wasn't this pyramid scheme or something sketchy. So it opened me up, and it made me open to the possibility of doing it, though I was not at all ready or fully interested. And then Jamie started earlier this year. I saw her also do the 30 days of healthful living. I saw my mom do it. I saw their successes, and I still wasn't ready to do the detox or to become a consultant, but I was a preferred client, and I'm absolutely in love with all the products I've tried. Um, it wasn't until I think a month after I finished working on my last movie set that I decided to get back in the gym and to be delivered about fitness. That I decided to go ahead and do the 30 days of healthful living. And it was a success. Lost 8 pounds my first week, another pound the next week, 3 pounds that week after, and another pound after that. So it was really tangible for me. I like things that are accessible. So it was a great journey. And Jamie was the one who said, now, Marsha, you are basically, you're doing what an Arbonne consultant would do. You are using the products, and people are seeing you use the products, and they're going to want to purchase these products, and they're going to get it from somewhere. They might as well get it from you, who they've seen you use the products and have seen it as a success. So that was the shift, but the open door was Bobby's launch last year. So it's been about a year expanding process for me, and that's why I became a consultant this last week. So I'm looking forward to the journey, and I am again thankful that y'all came today, and I'm gonna give it back over to Bobby.
Cool. Thanks for that, Marsha. Hi, everyone.
Sorry, really fast. I just wanted to say thank you, Bobby, for taking time out of your day to do this. I really, really appreciate it. You're like a brother, so I really do appreciate you investing this into my launch.
That's no problem at all. Don't even worry about it. I'm actually glad to be a part of it, so I kind of want to be there at the beginning, you know. But hi, everyone who doesn't, if you don't know me, my name is Bobby. I'm going to tell you a little bit. I want to try and keep this brief and not keep you here all day. But I want to tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll get into telling you a little bit about the company, the products, the business model, and also the income opportunity. Now, my reason for doing this was a little different from Marsha's. It was, I did this for the money. I was in a place in my life where I was looking to earn some residual income. I was tired of working regularly in order to, to the constant hustle, because in my field, there's a constant hustle involved in keeping work going. And I realized I wasn't going to do this for the rest of my life. So I started looking at real estate investing and stock market investing. And a lot of that required a substantial initial investment, which I didn't have. And so I was, so in my looking around, I came across my friend Clark, who had mentioned Arbonne to me several years ago, but I had completely dismissed it because, it sounded like one of those pyramid scheme things. And I was like, I'm better than that. Don't even come to me with that. Go. But then I was in a space where I was able to hear that's not true. What happened was I found out how much money he was making, and he was doing about $10,000 a month. And I was like, okay, I need to know whatever it is you're doing. I need to tell me about it. And he told me about it. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. And, if it's not what it turns out to be, I'll just quit. Worst case scenario, I'll just be where I am now. So I was like, okay, I tried it out. So I tried it out for a few months. No, actually, I committed to it for a few months. I started to see the checks get bigger. I started to see how the residual income works, and then I was like, okay, if nothing changes with this is gonna change my financial situation significantly. And so here I am. So let me go ahead and jump right into this. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick. And that's weird. I'm getting some weird feedback noise on my end. Are you guys hearing like a crackling noise, or is that just me? Okay, that's just me. Cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep this short, but I want to give you like a brief overview of why so many successful people from different walks of life are fitting Arbonne into their daily schedules. Now, we all have a different reason for adding an opportunity like this to our lives, but the funny part is they all tend to revolve around the same three reasons. People want more security in their financial situation, more freedom to be able to do what they want during their short lifetimes, and more time to be able to spend with their loved ones. You see, people are looking to get their bank accounts back and have more control over their lives and stop trading time for money. Now, Arbonne was designed to do just that. So while I'm going through this presentation, I want you to think about two questions. The first is, if I keep doing exactly what I'm doing right now, where will I be in 5 years, especially financially? And the second question is, if something were to happen to my main source of income in my household, how long would I be able to survive off of the savings account? So like I said earlier, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the company, a little bit about the products, a little bit about our business model, because it's one of those business models that are very misunderstood, and a little bit about our compensation plan. So Arbonne is a 37, this slideshow is old, I need to get this updated. It's a 37-year-old health and wellness company. It's been in business since 1980. Now, we're privately held, and some of our biggest investors have been GE Capital and Bank of America. Now, Arbonne is financially the same size as Clinique, which is about a $500 million company that relies heavily on advertising and is sold in over 40 countries. Now, the reason I mention that is it's really significant to say that we're the same size financially, because Arbonne doesn't advertise ever. And we're currently only in a handful of countries, and we're never sold in stores. Now, our founder, Petter Mork, was a Norwegian botanist who had the vision to create pure self and high-performance products that families like his own could use, trust, and afford. And today, his vision is carried out by a great product development team headed by Dr. Peter Matravers. And Dr. Peter Matravers was formerly with Aveda, and Michael Darminio was formerly with Philosophy. Now, our executive team is headed by our CEO, Kay Napier. Now, Kay Napier headed the Women's Health and Vitality Division at Procter & Gamble, but she was also the brains behind the healthy menu at McDonald's. You remember that documentary, Super Size Me, that came out several years ago? And right afterwards, McDonald's almost tanked completely. And they brought in Kay Napier to introduce the healthy menu with, the apple slices, the parfaits, and so on and so forth, and pretty much bailed McDonald's out of their downward spiral after that documentary came out. So that's our executive team. Now, none of us consultants could do what it is we do with this business if the products weren't as unique as they are. And we call this the Arbonne difference. The last generation realized the value of organic food in our health. And this generation is starting to realize that personal care products affect our health equally and faster. Because our skin is the largest organ on our body. I always just thought of our skin as a barrier, but it's an organ. And why that's significant is anything we put on our skin goes into our bloodstream very rapidly. So yes, you are what you eat, but more importantly, you are what you absorb. People are starting to connect the dots between our personal care products and rising cancer rates and other illnesses. And people are now wanting more safer products and more natural products, which is why more and more people are using coconut oil on their bodies, whereas 10 years ago, it wasn't nearly as popular as it is now. Just people becoming more aware of these things. Now, Arbonne, all of Arbonne's products are all pH balanced. They're all plant-based. They're all vegan certified, non-GMO, gluten-free. We never test on animals. We contain no animal byproducts. One of the things I did when I first started with this is I was told to Google what animal rendering is. And what that was is it's when these companies go around and they collect roadkill, euthanized animals, leftover meat from restaurants, animals too sick to be turned into food, etc. And they collect them all and they take them to a plant and they boil them in a huge vat into like a soup. And the stuff that rises to the top is called tallow. And tallow is sold to cosmetic companies as a filler and a binder. And that's what they use in their products. And it's rampant. It's very, very common. And it's actually kind of a shame because there's no regulating body over this process. So, all the chemicals, all the diseases, they don't filter this stuff out. It's just all in there, and that's what people use. This in our personal care products, in most of our lipstick, most of our makeup, especially our lipstick, and it's just the normal way we do things. Now, in Arbonne, we abide by Swiss formulation. So if you want some interesting facts about that, Switzerland abides by the European Union, where over 1,400 toxic ingredients are banned from the personal care products. Their consumer protection standards are much higher than there are in the US, because over there they have universal health care, whereas here we don't. Our healthcare system runs the other way around. And so their government's a lot more financially motivated to make sure that the people stay healthy. And so they regulate the personal care products. Whereas here in the US, you kind of have to prove the ingredients are toxic before they're taken out. And over there, you have to prove they're safe before they're allowed into the products. So on this screen, you'll see a laundry list of toxic ingredients that Arbonne products do not contain. But the upsetting part is all of the products on the screen are all legal in the United States to use, and they're in most of the products that we use and children use multiple times a day, every single day. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to highlight a couple. I want to highlight a few. The first I want to highlight is called parabens. Now, parabens is a common preservative that's found in according to one study, 99% of breast cancer tissue. In fact, parabens are linked directly to breast cancer the same way cigarettes are linked to lung cancer. Now, the second one I want to highlight, especially, the second one I highlight is mineral oil. Now, this was significant to me because I always thought, mineral oil was cool. And I knew it was in a lot of my cocoa butter and my lotions and so on and so forth. But I was like, I think the word mineral made it sound like, okay, it's good for me. But what I found after doing some research is that it's actually not. It's very, very bad. What mineral oil is, it's a petroleum byproduct. See, the sludge left on the bottom of oil tanks after, with the crude oil shipping, it's more cost effective for petroleum companies to sell that to the personal care industry than for them to dispose of it properly. And what it does, it kind of creates a barrier over our skin that doesn't allow our skin to detoxify and breathe the way it needs to, which is why you have some people, you've heard of stories of people who don't really use lotion and then they start using it and then they start needing it. Or same thing with chapstick. They're not really using chapstick when they start needing it, because your skin is kind of covered with saran wrap all day long. So when you finally get all of that layer of petroleum product off your skin's dry, it's malnourished, and you see it like, oh, I'm just ashy, and you just go ahead and slather more on, and that's just what we do. And it's very, very unhealthy for our skin. You get a lot of marathon runners who are advised the day of a marathon run not to use any products with mineral oil because your skin can't breathe the way it needs to, and it could be really, really bad for you. The third and the last thing I want to highlight from this list is phthalates. Now, phthalates is a plasticizer found in cologne, perfume, all kinds of skincare. It's been linked to ADD, testicular cancer, obesity, and general malformation in male babies, and a lot of other things. But the craziest fact about this to me was that phthalates are actually banned in children's toys. And the reason for that is everyone knows children put everything in their mouth. So it's known that these things are toxic, but because there's no regulating body over our personal care industry, they're allowed they're allowed in there. And so it's up to you and I to kind of be our own health advocates and make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Now, we have a wide range of consumable products, which was one of the things that appealed to me as far as starting a business with this company. I didn't want to sell to just one demographic or one gender and so on, or just one type of product. And because they have everything from, they joke that if you have skin and you're breathing, we have products for you. We have everything from babies to the elderly, or from diapers to diapers, as I like to say. We have skincare, we have anti-aging makeup, regular daily consumables like deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, body wash. We have a fantastic skincare routine. And Marsha was talking about our nutrition program, 30 Days to Healthy Living, which is amazing. It's probably one of the most popular programs or products that I have in my business. But pretty much, if you're alive and you have skin, breathing, Arbonne has products for you, which is really, really exciting. Now, I just want to touch on the skincare line real quick. I didn't know there was a tier system with skincare products until I started working with this. And the top level tier is called Ultra Premium. And certain brands that sit in that category are brands like La Prairie and La Mer, things that are sold in Saks, Fifth Avenue, or or Neiman Marcus. They're not sold in department stores or CVS and Targets. They're very, very high quality. Now, our products sit in that same tier, that same tier. And now that's significant because one of the two differences between our products and most of the other products there is, one, the ingredient policy. We're clean, we're formulated across according to like cleaner standards. So there aren't any toxic ingredients in there for you, which is unlike a lot of the other products of that same quality. So not only are you getting amazing quality, but it's also safer for you. And the other thing was the price. Because of our business model, which I'm going to get to in a second, it's priced at a small fraction of the other products that sit in that category. Now, the other, another product that is one of our most popular is the 30 Days to Healthy Living. This thing has changed a lot of people's life. There's a number of people that I've talked to that have that say that the common theme is that a lot of people are saying they did not know that they could feel this good in their adult life. We just kind of accept that, you know, oh, we're getting old, our body's getting a little raggedy, but that's a lot of that just has to do with buildup of toxins in our body. And this program, in a nutshell, what it does is help your body do what it wants to do, remove toxins, and teaches you to eat in a way where you're limiting the amount of toxins and toxicity in your body, and so on and so forth. So it's a great program for people who want to lose weight or just feel better without having to go hungry because they still eat real food on the program. So I'm going to skip ahead to our business model. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most remarkable parts about the company. Before I highlight our business model, I want to take a look at this traditional business model. Now, this is based on the brick and mortar design. Products move from the manufacturer to the wholesaler, then to the warehouse, then to the sales force, where, well, the warehouse is stored regionally for a number of years, sometimes up to 6 or 7 years. And then they move over to the sales force where the advertising takes place, and marketing agencies are used to get the name out. And then from there, they finally move to the retailers themselves. So you and I are paying for it to sit on the shelf, and then the price has been inflated up to 80% because everyone along this step has wanted a piece of the pie. Now, I want to go back and talk about the marketing and the sales force. Well, millions of dollars are being paid to celebrities to endorse these brands. And the money comes from us, the consumer, because we're literally paying, in a way, you can say we're paying like Jennifer Aniston to be the face of Aveeno, even though she may not use it, but she's recommending it to us that we should use it. And it doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't really make any sense that we should have to pay for that in the cost of the product. But this is the way we do things because this is the only way this is the only way there has been to do things until now. Until recently, traditional businesses were the way to go if you wanted to be a business owner, but they're just becoming less and less efficient. They're not efficient anymore because they require a very, very high investment, a net worth of up to $1 million sometimes, huge overhead expenses. You're working long hours. You have to hire employees, train employees. You have to do the research and product development. You're handling payroll. There's limited sales potential on top of that for being brick and mortar. So basically, in a lot of ways, to open a traditional brick and mortar business, your business ends up owning you, if you will. Now, I want to go back and highlight our own business model. Now, this is network marketing. Now, when I first heard of network marketing, this was I had a lot of misconceptions about what it was. I thought, pyramid scheme. There's some couple in Utah that's making all the money, and everyone goes in and they have these inferior products that they're trying to force their friends and family to buy. And when then they realize they're not making any money, and then they're storing a whole bunch of products in their place because they have to sell it, and so on and so forth. But I learned that I was just very, very misinformed, which a lot of people are about this. There's a lot of antiquated ideas about it. Network marketing, in a nutshell, is just word of mouth marketing. A lot of companies will decide when they have a superior product, in order to keep the product of such high quality, they go through a network marketing business model. And what that is they decide to have it go directly from the manufacturer through the word of mouth of independent consultants to the consumer. So by skipping all of those middlemen, they're able to keep the price down while still keeping the quality very, very high. And because it's not cheap to be everything that Arbonne is, to be green, sustainably harvested, toxin-free, no animal byproducts, and so on and so forth. But because of this business model, people like you and I could afford it. Now, sorry, give me 1 second. I'm going to my notes. I got a little lost. So the, one second, sorry. Okay, so this streamlined process, it pretty much saves hundreds of millions of dollars in spending. And where does this money goes? It goes into the research and development of the product, to being vegan certified, non-GMO, gluten-free, and so on and so forth. And lastly, it goes back into the pockets of us, the independent consultants, for being the ones who are actually responsible for helping to grow the brand. So I like to compare to, we go to restaurants all the time and we recommend them to friends. Now, if we have a friend go to a restaurant we recommended, we're not going to get a thank you check from them. But through Arbonne, we actually will every single month. And in a nutshell, I think it's the way business is going to be in the next coming years. A shift that's happening with business because the whole process is streamlined. We're no longer having to stock a bunch of products and sell it ourselves. Everything happens online, and as a result, we can take it with us if we need to travel, if we need to relocate, or if we have friends and family, people we know who live in a different country or a different state, and so on and so forth. So having it all online makes it very streamlined, and it makes it possible for repeat business, which I'm getting to in a second. Now, why Arbonne and why now? See, okay, big business means the convergence of trends. Now, Arbonne taps into many, but the first trend I want to talk about are the demographics. Now, the first demographic I want to talk about are the baby boomers. Now, baby boomers are the majority of the population. They spend about 2/3 of every dollar, and a baby boomer turns 60 every 7 seconds for the next 10 years. Now, what do they want? They want health, wellness, anti-aging, pretty much everything Arbonne has. But most importantly, a lot of them are looking for an exit strategy because they aren't able to retire the way they were promised and are being replaced in the workforce by people half their age. Now, Arbonne's opportunity provides them like a double-edged sword of being able to look and feel better as well as retire with a significant income. Now, the second demographic I want to talk about is Generation X. Now, Gen X was kind of the first generation to care about the green commitment. Now, they love Arbonne because they've been green for 37 years, even before it was cool or trendy. And now they're raising families and starting to realize that the corporate lifestyle isn't quite what they thought it was going to be. So Arbonne quickly becomes a really attractive way to supplement their income with ideals that they can actually believe in. And the last generation I want to talk about together are millennials, the digital generation. Now, generally speaking, millennials are about ownership and lifestyle. They've seen what the 9-to-5 life looked like for their parents, and they're not really interested in it. But they also want to make great money without having to give up their time. And most importantly, they're graduating from college with sometimes up to 6 figures in debt and entering a workforce with fewer and fewer jobs. And these jobs will pay them about enough to make sure that they're not able to ever repay their debt in a relatively sensible amount of time. And so for those reasons, that's another reason Arbonne becomes very, very attractive to them, because in the same 4 years they spent racking up that debt, they can build a very, very substantial residual income asset for themselves. And so another thing I want to talk about is why Arbonne is a smart business decision. And this is what appealed to me. One of the biggest things that appealed to me was the fact that it was a consumable product. See, why that matters is you have someone, they share the information about the product with them, they take it home and it's like, oh, this is great. I would like to switch over my brand to this because 1, it's better quality. 2, it's cleaner and it's safer for me than what I've been using before. So they get it, they use it, and they finish it, and they do what we do whenever we finish our personal care products, they reorder. So this being a consumable product makes it very easy for residual income to take place. People buy the product, they finish it, they reorder, and because it all happens online, you don't have to keep in contact with them. You don't have to make sure that they're getting what they need. They just take care of themselves without you having to deliver anything, and so forth, so on and so forth. Now, the network marketing is like the second fastest growing industry in the world, next to health and wellness. And the fun fact, there are actually more millionaires today as a direct result of network marketing than from any other industry. Globally, it's about a $178 billion industry. And in the US alone, it's a $56 billion industry. Now, to give some perspective on how big that is, it's bigger than the video game industry, than the movie industry, the music industry, the NFL, and the NBA combined. And also, as I was saying, with Arbonne's consumable product, well, the fact that all of our products except for one are consumable, it's very easy to create residual income in this massive industry. Now, I briefly mentioned health and wellness. About 30 years ago, this industry didn't really exist. No one really remembers the words organic or vegan from 30 years ago, but today it's almost $1 trillion industry. And since people purchase from themselves online, Arbonne provides a lot of time leverage. So you're able to make a substantial income while you sleep or while you're spending time with friends and family, as opposed to being at a regular 9 to 5 or being on the clock for someone else. And finally, Arbonne is an internet-based business. So this provides many tax benefits and tax write-offs. And internet-based businesses have surpassed retail shopping several years ago. Several years ago, Amazon became the #1 retailer over Walmart. And you're seeing more and more stores closing down their locations because people are wanting to shop online now. And it's a fun fact, there hasn't been a shopping mall built in the United States since 2006, because there's a shift that's happening to internet shopping, which is another reason I decided it would be a good time to get involved with a company that works in this industry, because it's very clear that that's where things are shifting, how the times are changing. So I'm going to go ahead and, for the purpose of time, I'm going to go ahead and get to what it is we actually do as independent consultants. What is our job? So notice that the slide doesn't say sell, sell, sell. What it is we do is we stop, start, and share. We just simply stop spending our hard-earned money in retail stores that don't pay us to shop there, and we're paying their overhead and their middlemen for inferior products that are safer, that are toxic for us. And then we start to spend that money on pure, safe, beneficial products from our own store at a great discount, and products that we can write off on our taxes. And we just share that information with others, teaching them the dangers of harmful ingredients and the power of Arbonne's opportunity in the business side. And we're simply just redirecting money that we're already spending, because we're already a part of this profit system for someone else. We just redirect it in a way that where it's more beneficial for us, it's safer for our bodies, for our family, and a more financially sound and more financially intelligent decision. So generally, the way we like to describe this is it starts with one person. It starts with you. So let's pretend this is Marsha. It starts with her just redirecting her own personal care and spending and enjoying the Arbonne difference. And even, people start to take notice. People like you come to her video launch and her presentations. And now a few other people notice, and they decide to, through recommendations and testimonials, like we do with everything, they start to follow Marsha's lead and change their brand as well and start to use safer, cleaner product. And this leads to a compounding effect, where those people tell people, and so on and so forth. So it's only introduced to a few, but who then introduce it to a few, and that result starts to compound. And this is actually the same way Facebook grew. Mark Zuckerberg invited 9 people to his hotel rooms to tell them about Facebook. 2 friends showed up, and they told a few friends, and today we have 2 billion people using Facebook, and it wasn't even advertised. It's just building a consumer network. That's how this works. So let's think big for a second. This expansion of this network will continue across borders. So if you had one person who knows someone in any of the countries we're in, and they share Arbonne with them, your business just went global. And they can build that business in any of the markets in the countries we're already in, which are the United States, UK, Canada, Australia, Poland, Taiwan, and next year we'll be expanding into Germany. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip down to the compensation plan, and because for me this was the most significant portion of the presentation. Now, in this company, we have 4 levels of promotion. And these names we come up with, they're not geographic, they're just names that we have for the different levels of promotion. First level promotion, we call it district manager. The average time to get there is in 1 to 5 months. And the average income at this level of promotion is $240 to $1,500 a month. Now, for a lot of people, this isn't life-changing money. However, for simply switching over your brand because we're all going to shower for the most part, pretty much every day. And we all know people who are going to shower. This is something we're going to do. We're going to we're already part of somebody's profit system as far as this goes. So by just redirecting your spending and in your spare time sharing this information with other people, let's say 3 months from now, you're getting a check in, you get a direct deposit for $900. It's not going to change your life, but for most people, it's not going to change their life. But it's going to give you a lot more breathing room financially. Maybe it'll take care of your rent or your mortgage or a car payment with some change, or there's something you've been saving up for that, or knock down a credit card. Just in your life, think of what an extra $900 direct deposit would look like for something you started 4 or 5 months ago and just kept working consistently in your spare time in the nooks and crannies around your life. Now, the best part, one of the bigger perks of this level of promotion is that a percentage of your own personal purchases go back into your paycheck. So, we like to say that at this point, you're getting paid to shower. The second level of promotion is area manager. Average time to get there is 5 to 11 months, and the average income at that level of promotion starts at $1,200 a month and goes up to $3,000 every single month. Now, once again, for a lot of people, this isn't quite life-changing money, but for a lot of people, they are, if they have a part-time job, you're kind of letting that go. Or if you're doing like a little side hustle, like Lyft or something like that, you're able with an extra, let's say $2,500 a month that's coming in every month. You're a little more likely to have a little more spare time to do what it is you want, or start making plans for other things. Whatever that looks like in your life. One of my favorite perks about this level of promotion is your business becomes willable. So, say Marsha has been sharing this information with people. They decided to switch their brand to something that's better quality and safer for them. And God forbid something were to happen to Marsha, those people are not going to stop showering. That money is still going to keep coming in. And so with the way at this level of promotion, she can will that business to her family. So those checks keep, and I really shouldn't have used Marsha for that. That's really morbid. I should have just stuck with myself. Anyway, the income will still keep coming in. And so, but this way you can will that income to your family. And so it doesn't stop if something were to happen to you, God forbid. The third level of promotion, we call it regional vice president. The average time to get there is 1 to 3 years, and the average income at this level of promotion is $5,000 to $8,000. And this is averages. My friend Clark, who was at this level of promotion when you talked to him, I found out he was making close to like $9,000 to $10,000 a month, and that's what shifted it for me. Now, for a lot of people, this is life-changing money. At this point, they're quitting their full-time jobs. A lot of us refer to it as zip code changing money. Most people are not living in the same place they're living in right now when they start to make this kind of money. Now, bear in mind, this is still working part-time hours. You're just working consistently for, in your spare time, fitting it where it goes for 1 to 3 years. And what I tell some people, because I had a friend that said, well, it takes 3 years to get there. And I said, yes, that makes sense. On average, 1 to 3 years. But those 3 years are going to happen whether you switched over your brand and kept telling people about it or not. So, think of the way I invite people to think about it is think of if you started something like this 3 years ago, what your life would look like today. And if you want to have that feeling now, again, in 3 years. But so digressing, one of the best perks about this level of promotion is once you hit this level of promotion, the company, on top of your paycheck, the company will give you an added stipend on top of your check to pay for a white Mercedes-Benz. The only stipulation with it has to be white, it has to be Mercedes, and you'll get an extra $800 on top of your check to pay for it. You can buy it, you can lease it, it's in your name. It's just a thank you from the company for helping to grow the brand. So it's pretty much a free Mercedes. And if your payments are not $800, you pocket the rest. I know a few people that do that to price it in a way where their payments for their insurance and the car are under $800, so they just have that extra money on top of their check. Granted, if you're making $8,000 a month, I guess an extra $200 doesn't hurt. The top level promotion right here is called National Vice President. Average time to get there is 3 to 5 years, and the average income starts at $21,000 a month and goes up to infinity. I know several people in this business who are doing 6 figures every single month, and for a lot of us, that's it's not just changing our life at this point, but it's changing a lot of our families' lives. to be making this money. And once again, like I said, these are part-time hours that people are working, but just consistently. And it's very real. I was very, very skeptical about this when I started it, but when I started off, my check was relatively small. Next check was a little bigger, and it kept growing. And when I got my first $1,000, I looked at how much time I was working this and how long I've been doing it. I realized if nothing changes, this will actually be, the catchphrase, in 4 years you'll be financially free, which has always irritated me. I did the math and I realized this could actually happen, which is it was, even with looking at the figures, looked a little too good to be true, but I can't argue with math. It was definitely happening. So all of that was really, really exciting. So that's the compensation plan. Now, there are 3 ways to be a part of Arbonne, based on everything you've heard today. The first way is as a client. Let's say you like what you heard today. You were like, you know what, I want to upgrade my personal care, or I want to support Marsha's business. Supporting smaller businesses. I'm already spending this money. Might as well redirect it to someone who I personally know, instead of like helping some rich guy just get richer. And these products are also safer for me, and so on and so forth. You decide you want to be a client. You can go to Marsha's website and sign up as a client, and you would just buy the products at full retail price. Or if you decided depending on what you were getting, we could sign you up, or Marsha could sign you up as a preferred client, where you would get, it's a $20 fee to be a preferred client, and you get the status for a year, and you get 20 to 40% off the entire catalog for a year at that point. And it's a wonderful way to be a part of this. The second way you can, be a part of Arbonne or just choose to support Marsha is I'm going to go over here to host. So let's say some people, like I have some friends that are vegan or care about, or I just have some friends that like to try products for free. Marsha's looking to grow her business right now. And so one of the ways you can help to do that is to be a host in some way, or a referral. Meaning, what hosting looks like is Marsha will be doing some group events, some group presentations, just a situation where people can try the products, because we like to do a try before you buy situation. Just try it, no strings attached. It's not a commitment to buy, and just to see what it is, because the products are good enough where just trying it, you'll notice a difference. And so you can be a connector as far as that goes, and have a few of your friends over. Marsha will bring the products, everyone try it out, see if they like it. If they like it, great. If not, that's completely fine. And so that's another way you can be a part of Arbonne. The third way, and the way I personally recommend, is to be an independent consultant. Once again, Marsha's looking to build her network in this beginning stages. So if what I said makes sense to you, and it sounds like what with this hurt, it's not gonna. What do I have to lose? Worst case scenario, I'll just end up where I am now. Best case scenario, the money turns out to be exactly what Bobby said it was going to be. I recommend, and this is the way I personally recommend, because for a number of reasons. One, the income opportunity for something you'll do around your current life is amazing. But secondly, as an independent consultant, you get the wholesale discount. It's the cheapest way to buy Arbonne. You get 35% off the entire catalog or 30 to 50% off the entire catalog for the whole time you're a consultant. And it's really, really, I strongly recommend it in a nutshell. But to that end, as far as considering the Arbonne business, there are a number of common fears that go through a lot of people's minds. The first one is, I don't have enough time. And the truth of the matter is, the busiest, most successful people in Arbonne fit this into the nooks and crannies of their life. So to keep it simple, if you have an hour a day to get lost scrolling on Facebook or be on Instagram, then you have time for this business. Actually, to put it bluntly, if you're here now listening to this, then you have time to do this business, because the only difference is I'm sitting on this side of the screen and you're sitting on that side, but the time is available. So there's that. The second objection that people have often is that I don't have enough money to start something like this. Now, the truth of the matter is, and this was the way it was explained to me, I told him, my friend Clark, who told me about this, I was like, there's kind of an investment involved in this, right? There's, the $79 to start, but I'll need some products to work with afterwards. I was like, I can't swing it right now. And he says, what he said to me is like, if you've been working, because I was just leaving my job at the Cheesecake Factory. And he says, you've been working there for about 10 years, right? He says, yeah. He says, if you've been working at your job for 10 years and you don't have some extra money to start something like this that could potentially change your life, I recommend you make it a priority to start doing something different now, because what you've been doing, Bobby, is proven. You've tested it and you've proven it not to work as far as changing your life. So it's time to start making something different, and to make a change, to start doing things different as far as that goes. And that made sense to me. So the same invitation I have for you. The third thing that people often say is I don't know enough, is saying that I don't know enough people. And to that end, what I was told was, do you know 4 people who take showers? And do you think they know 4 people who take showers? And then within the next year, or do you think you'll meet 4 people that take showers, and so on and so forth? And that's the way this works in real life. And obviously, as far as that goes, people are like, I don't know that I can do that. There's an enormous amount of assistance, training, mentorship, coaching. For instance, Marsha's brand new. Marsha started this with her sister Jamie, and Jamie started this with my wife Zanaya, and Zanaya started this with me, because I started it first, which is very uncommon in this industry for the man to start it first and the wife to get started later on. But like many people, my wife was very, very skeptical, and after she saw me doing this for a while and saw what I was doing and what the money was, she decided, okay, this is a smart move. But going back to what I was saying. So as far as that goes, I'm pretty far removed from Marsha. However, Marsha needed some help giving this presentation today, and I took the time out of my schedule to help her, because that's how this industry works. You get a lot of help, you get a lot of assistance, and we like to say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. This section, the what do people think / what am I getting into, was the biggest concern for me personally, because I'm a performer. Like I don't know if I said this in the beginning, but I make before I started Arbonne, most of my money was made singing. I'm a singer, and so as any other artist or performer, we care a lot about what people think, because we're used to putting ourselves out there a lot. But what I realized for me is 2 things. One, being associated with this and with a network marketing company, my concerns with what people are going to think would be easily solved by a little information. And one of my favorite parts about doing this is a large part of what we do is just inform people. We're kind of teachers in a way, much more than salesmen. And that was as Marsha said, that was her concern, but she saw it's not what it is. We're not salesmen, we're just informants. We let people try things and we let them know why it's good for them. And if they want to get it, then sure. And as to that end, with this industry, I just inform people on how this industry actually works. And that little bit of information changes whatever negative thoughts they have about them or me by extension. And so I was glad to be able to do that. And as a side effect, be able to help some people who could use some additional income to take off some of the stress in their lives and in their families' lives. And the other side of that, for those who, the other side of that, what will people think, was I realized, like, I can't let people's opinions dictate my financial well-being for the next part of my life. And so I just need to do this. And honestly, no one really argues with you when you start to make I don't want to say argues, but thinks less of you when your quality of life increases as a result of something. And so, and as a result, once again, you may end up helping some people shed some misconceptions and be able to make a better decision for their lives. So, in conclusion, I want to go back to what I was saying earlier, as far as the 2 questions I asked in the very beginning. If you kept doing what you were doing now for the next 5 years, what would your life look like? What would change, or what would still be the same? And also, if something were to happen to the main source of income in your household, how long could you survive off your savings account? And so in a nutshell, what I'm asking is, what is your plan B if something were to go wrong? Or if what you're doing right now isn't working, if you've tried it and it's been proven not to work, I recommend giving this a shot, because company's been around for almost 40 years and the system's been tested and proven in that time to work for a number of people. I'm living it right now and it's working, which is part of the reason I feel comfortable telling anyone else about it, because, because if it doesn't work, if it turns out to be BS, you're going to come back to me or Marsha, and she's going to come to me, and so on and so forth. So that concludes this presentation. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this, because it's always nice when you start something new and you're trying, to the end of improving yourself and making a change in your life, to have the support of your friends and family and people there. So on behalf of Marsha, even though she'll probably chime in, so thank you. Thank you. It's really, really nice. And if you have any questions at all, or any part of this sounded interesting, or you wanted to know more about this, one thing I love about this company, we're an open book. Anything you want to know, we'll give you all the information up front. It's not like, well, after sign up, we'll discuss that. No, if you want to know, we'll give you all the details up front, and so on and so forth. So yes, and that's it. Thank you so much, and everyone have a good day.